The city that never sleeps, that carries 8 million souls and speaks 100 languages, has chosen a Muslim to lead it. New York loves Zohran Mamdani. He is the first Muslim, the first South Asian to be elected mayor of America's largest city. A city with the second largest Jewish community in the world after Tel Aviv. Zohran Mamdani was outspent by 1 to 4. Billionaires joined forces to defeat him. But he loves New York, and New York loves him. 90,000 volunteers changed history. But his path to this moment was brutal. From the day he entered the race, he faced a flood of racist and Islamophobic attacks. New York had never seen a campaign so vicious, so personal, so cruel. MAGA trolls compared him to the planes that struck the Twin Towers. Right-wing commentators called him the jihadist candidate.
You are clearly right now in the front-running position. I can tell because they've gone 9/11 on you.
This is not a job for a first-timer. Any day, you could have a hurricane, you have, God forbid, a 9/11, a health pandemic.
Any given morning, there's a crisis. And people's lives are at stake. God forbid, another 9/11. Can you imagine Mamdani in the seat?
Yeah, I could. He'd be cheering.
Well, it's another problem.
Hundreds of rabbis in New York signed statements branding him a threat to Jewish safety. They preached in synagogues, urging congregations not to vote for him. But 40% of Jewish voters said they would vote for Mamdani. Trump issued statement after statement, calling Mamdani a communist, saying he was terrible for the country, joking that he could one day become a communist president of the United States.
Maybe he'll run for president in 4 years, you have a communist president.
Even Elon Musk joined the mockery, tweeting that Zohran was the future of the Democratic Party. The hate was relentless. But Mamdani didn't bend. He didn't soften his voice.
The dream of every Muslim is simply to be treated the same as any other New Yorker. And yet for too long we have been told to ask for less than that, and to be satisfied with whatever little we receive. No more. For as long as we have lived, we have known that no matter what anyone says, there are still certain forms of hate acceptable in this city today. Islamophobia is not seen as inexcusable. One can incite violence against our mosques and know that condemnation will never come. Elected officials in this city can sell t-shirts calling for my deportation without fear of any accountability. The consequences are stark. More than 1 million Muslim New Yorkers exist in this city only to be made to feel as if guests in our own home. No more.
He stood before the microphones and spoke of Islamophobia, not as an abstract idea, but as a wound he carried since childhood.
Growing up in the shadow of 9/11, I have known what it means to live with an undercurrent of suspicion. I will always remember the disdain I faced, the way my name could immediately become Muhammad, and how I could return to my city only to be asked in a double-mirrored room at the airport if I had any plan of attacking it. And since I was very young, I have known that I was spared the worst of it.
Zohran Mamdani's father, Professor Mahmoud Mamdani, wrote a book called Good Muslim, Bad Muslim. Zohran Mamdani turned out to be a great Muslim, a good neighbor, and an excellent citizen.
The bigger question is whether we are willing to say goodbye to something much larger. It is whether we are willing to say goodbye to anti-Muslim sentiment that has grown so endemic in our city that when we hear it, we know not whether the words were said by a Republican or by a Democrat. We know only that it was spoken in the language of the politics of this city. In an era of ever-diminishing bipartisanship, Islamophobia has emerged as one of the few areas of agreement.
He didn't hide his faith. He didn't whisper his name. He stood tall, prayed openly, and spoke about justice unapologetically.
I will not change who I am. I will not change how I eat. I will not change the faith that I am proud to belong to. But there is one thing I will change. I will no longer look for myself in the shadows. I will find myself in the light.
When hate came for him, he answered with dignity. When fear tried to define him, he redefined courage.
I mean, this is all the Republican Party has to offer. Cheap jokes about Islamophobia so as to not have to recognize what people are living through. attempts to pit people's humanity against each other. And I think whether it's J.D. Vance or it's Andrew Cuomo, it is the same kind of politics. It's a politics of division.
Zohran Mamdani's victory is not just a triumph for people taking charge of their city. It is a moral awakening. It is the first crack in the architecture of Islamophobia. It is a message to every young Muslim who repetitively had to urge people to say their name correctly, those who were told to stay invisible. It is a message saying, you do not need to hide anymore, because a city that once feared your faith now trusts it to lead, because this time, Islamophobia didn't win. America did.